In the last lesson, we talked about what DuckLake is and why it's useful. Now it's time to set one up ourselves. We'll go step by step, creating the S3 bucket on AWS, giving it the right permissions, and then connecting it into MotherDuck, so it feels just like any other DuckDB database. By the end, we'll have our clean requests table stored in the cloud, and we'll be able to query it, insert rows, and even clean it up when we're done. Here, let me show you. So let's create and work with the DuckLake. When we go to the MotherDuck UI and we go here into the settings, you can see here integrations and secrets. And in the secrets section, you can create a secret from the secret type S3, right? So we can call this here DuckLake. So what do we need from AWS? We need the access key ID, we need the secret access key, and we need the region. Everything else is optional here, and then we can test the S3 credentials. So what do we need to do? First, of course, we need to create ourselves a bucket. So go to your S3 into the management console, click create a bucket, and then name this bucket here accordingly, whatever you want to use. Remember, these need to be unique across all AWS. So I already created one, and mine is called DuckLake Andreas 001. And as you can see right now, nothing's in it. That's the first step. Next step is we need to create ourselves a user for DuckDB. So go into your IAM and then click here, create user. And when we're going to create a user, we're going to use this, or let's call this MotherDuck. Right? MotherDuck, click next. We're going to attach policies directly here. We're going to do a quick shortcut with S3 full access. And then we click next. Also in the documentation, I have an alternative for you if you want to attach a permission to the user that is just for our specific S3 resource. But for this example, I'm just using here Amazon S3 full access. Usually you would create a user group and then put this user into the user group. But let's just use this. Click here next. This is all we need. Create the user. Boom. And then we go into that user and we say we need security credentials here and we need access keys. So we're going to create an access key here, and we're using here application running outside AWS. Next. And then do a description here. Let's call this just DuckLake as the tag. And then create the access key. Now, of course, here's our access key. I always copy this in or just download this as a CSV file. So I just download this as a CSV file. Here's the secret access key we need. We can already copy this into MotherDuck. And then use our access key here into that. Now next we of course need to look into where is our S3 located. Our S3 here, when you go to buckets, you can see US East 1. We're going to just copy this in, US East 1, and then we say test credentials. Successfully connected to S3 with provided credentials. Then we add the secret. Okay, now we have that. So let's start working with DuckLake. I have created for you a DuckLake notebook. And of course, this code is in the GitHub as well. You're going to find all of them and you can create your own notebook. Now, the first thing that we do here is we create the database my DuckLake from the type DuckLake with the path that it leads us to S3, right? This is my S3 path from my S3 bucket. And then we use a subfolder NYC. So when we execute this here, we're going to see on the left here, there's my DuckLake, right? But on the actual S3, nothing has happened so far because there's no data in yet. Now, we are going to create this, click run cell, and this will run, and this will then return us one row with a count of 22,504. These are all our rows, right? And we can see here, clean requests. Now we have our table. Here we can explore the table. Okay, everything is in there. When we then go back to DuckLake and refresh this, we see here, okay, this is our NYC data, main, clean requests, our table, and here is the Parquet file that is for DuckLake. So we can then go back and we can work with the actual data. So we can extract the year from the created date, basically do the same thing again, see the year. Okay, this is 2024 with our complaints. We can also insert something into the DuckLake. Basically here, this is a simple insert statement where we insert a timestamp from 2025, right? Insert it, boom. And then we can query it again here. And that works. As well here with the DuckLake, we still have the option, as I mentioned, with using transactions, but here in the UI that doesn't work because it auto commits when one of these runs. And that's how easy it is. Now we can do a drop table here. By the way, what has changed? We created another Parquet file in this. Let's say we want to delete this. What is happening here? We can do a drop table. And then this will drop our table for the DuckLake. But still, the actual data is going to be here. So you need to actually delete this yourself, right? So this stays here because you basically just deleted the catalog here, the information where the data lies. And of course, if you want to do more, if you have already Parquet files, you can import them into your table. It's super simple, very, very straightforward. So go there, play around with this, import your own data, copy data back and forth and use it. It's pretty cool.